our lovely test review for our Unit 8 test coming up tomorrow. All right, so number 1, for every 5 feet, there are 60 inches. Write an equation that will represent the number of inches, I, in a given number of feet. So what I would suggest doing, the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make me a table. Because if I have to write an equation, then going from a table to an equation makes things so much easier. So I'm comparing feet and inches. Feet and inches. Would you agree? All right. Kind of can't see that. Let me just move that up there. There we go. And what do we know? That there's 5 feet, 60 inches, right? So if I continue my table just to make sure I have the right equation, if I had 10 feet, how many inches would I have? 120. What about if I had 1 foot? 12. Would you agree? Yes? All right, now it says write an equation that will represent the number of inches in any given number of feet. What am I doing to feet to get to inches? So I'm taking this and I'm multiplying by 12. Does everybody agree? So, and my variable for feet is F. My variable for inches is I. So if I were to write out this equation, I would do 12 times the number of feet gives me how many inches I have. Would you agree? The other equation that I could have written is going the other way. What am I going to do to inches to get to feet? Divide by 12. So my other one I could have had was inches divided by 12 gives me feet. Either one of these equations is correct. Yes?
So I did a little different. I made a chart and I showed how much would be in 1 foot, just 12 inches.
Which is what we did right here.
And I put feet and inches, but I put X and Y next to them. So I put X times 12 equals Y, but I put feet over X and inches over Y.
Okay, that's fine, but you need to make sure you read the directions because this particular word problem told me the variables that I needed to use, correct? So because it told me those variables, I need to use those variables. Yes?
Do you have to do it like exactly those equations that are on the page? You put like F times 12 equals inches.
Well, that is what I have. If you wrote F times 12 equals inches, that's the same thing as 12F. No, you just need to know that both of these are the same. All right, number 2. Write the equation that represents the relationship between X and Y values. So here's my X values and here is my Y values. What am I doing to my X value to get to my Y value? Sadie? Dividing by 5. I'm going to check to make sure it happens with each and every one. Because a lot of times it may work with the first one, but it's not going to work with all the other ones. So if I took 220 and divided it by 5, does it give me 44? Okay. What about if I took 260 and divided it by 5? Does it give me 52? All right. So my equation for this table would be X divided by 5 equals Y. I could have also written it as X over 5 equals Y.
Or Y times 5 equals X.
Right. All right, does the given situation represent a multiplicative or additive relationship? Jeff rents 6 movies per month. Is it going to be a multiplicative or an additive? Hunter. Multiplicative. Very good. All right. Tammy has 6 pairs of shoes. She plans to go shopping and buy more shoes. Clayton. Additive, because I'm adding to what I already have. All right, number 4. Write the equation for the table below. Sarah's age, April's age. 2, 4, 6, 7, 9, 11. What is being done to Sarah's age to get to April's age? Joel. Adding Sarah's age plus 5. Let's see. Works. 2 plus 5 is 7. Great. Let's see if it works for the next one. 4 plus 5 equals 9. Yes? 6 plus 5, does it equal 11? Yes. So my equation would be Sarah's age plus 5 gives me April's age. And you could have used different variables.
Oh, you can use X and Y.
Yes, you could have used X and Y.
I put 5 plus X equals Y.
Same thing. All right. Number 5. What is the independent quantity in the table? Which one is independent? So independent, does it mean it relies on anything? No. What does not rely on the other? Clayton.
Time.
Time is independent. Time does not rely on distance, but the distance relies on how long you're driving, right? Yes? All right, which graph represents an additive and which a multiplicative? So, looking at my graph, it may be hard for me to determine which one is which. So what I did, because I have already done the review, so when I did the review, made a table. Because once I had a table, it made it a lot easier to decide if it was additive or multiplicative. All right. So I'm going to pick, I've got some points already on here, right? So when X was 1, Y was what? 4. When X was 2, Y was, when X was 3, Y was, all right. What am I doing to my X value to get to my Y? Does that work every time?
Yes.
So what type of relationship is that?
Additive.
Do you see how writing this table right here actually made it a little bit easier to determine whether or not it was additive or multiplicative? All right, let's check out over here. All right, here X is 1. Y is what? 3. X is 2. Y is 3. X is 3. Y is, what's being done to X to get to Y? Times 3 each and every time, making this a good? Awesome. Number 7. Make a table that matches the graph below. All right, so I have my side length and I have my perimeter. And what I'm going to do, Hunter, pay attention because you had some problems on this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find, okay, when this is 1, when my side length is 1, come all the way up here, make a point. What is my perimeter? 6, all right. When my side length is 2, what is my perimeter? When my side length is 3, oh, it's not up there. So I can at least do these, right? And if I wanted to pick another point, I could have picked, okay, let's pick this one. That looks like it's going to be at 1.5. And then my perimeter would be 9. Does everybody see that? I picked my points on here. As long as it's on a line, I can be able to graph those. All right, number 8. In which quadrant would the point 3.7 comma negative 2 be located? So 3.7 is going to be on my X, so 3.7 would be somewhere around here, and negative 2. What quadrant is this? Quadrant 4, because this is quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. Remember, it makes the letter C for coordinate plane. All right, number 9. Which is the independent and dependent quantity on the table? Remember, our X is always my independent, and Y is always my dependent, right? Remember, dry, mix. Remember that? Your Y is the dependent, your X is your independent. So when you get your test tomorrow, write dry mix on there so that you can remember. So my lapse is my independent quantity and time is my dependent. Number 10, graph the following points on the coordinate plane. 3.75, it's going to actually be off the grid, somewhere about over here. Negative 4.2. My graph wasn't quite big enough. 3 3/4 and 1. Negative 2.5 and 1. Negative 2.5 and 1 and negative 4 1/4. And look, it makes a beautiful what?
Square.
Actually, it's a rectangle, but okay. All right. Number 11, if the bell rings, you'll just remain seated so I can finish these last two, okay? Number 11, large Texas apples weigh half of a pound each. Make a table and graph the ordered pairs on the grid below. Again, I'm going to make me a table. I've got apples and I've got pounds. One apple weighs how much pounds? 1/2 a pound. So 2 apples weigh how much?
1.
3 apples weigh?
1/2.
Can I graph this? Absolutely. I've got apples and I've got pounds. When 1 apple, I've got 1/2 a pound. 2 apples is 1 pound. 3 apples is 1 1/2 pounds. Easy enough? Then, of course, I can connect the dots, la la la, and I can keep going. Making that table makes everything easy, right? All right, and number 12, plot the following points on the grid. 0, 5, 6, 3, 1/2, 2, -2, 4, 1.5, 3.5. All right, which fact is true? Are all the points in quadrant 1? No. Are all the points have a y value that is greater or equal to 1? Yes, 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 yes. All the points have an x value that is greater than -2. Yes, 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 no, because that's equal to, right? All points reflect across the y-axis into a different quadrant. So if I put this and I flip it, are all of them going to be in a different quadrant? Nope, because this will stay the same. So the correct answer is B. All right, study for your test.